Good evening, all. Hope you're doing well and you're having a nice day. It's been a bit quiet today in terms of like volatility, but I think it's because we've got the CPI and got FOMC on the same day. It's on Wednesday, and we've got the ECB on Thursday. We've also got a Bank of Canada monetary report on Wednesday as well. So Wednesday is going to be huge, and we've got to be quite careful. And tomorrow is the positioning and the readiness of the banks and the large specs. So we'll see them position tomorrow going into the CPI. What normally happens is that they'll front run the market, push something really high in order for it to become a sell. So I think maybe gold could be doing it, but we had our short in gold as we can see on the FXCM trading station. So I want to cover the indices in gold, and I want to look at Dixie because that's going to plan. And we have to remember we'll risk on at the big picture, and that's why we shouldn't really be seeing a very strong dollar because with risk on, there's a load of bears left, but we have come off the highs. Okay, the technicals really pumped. We had a speech from Yellen, and she was saying about the inflation, how it was going to come down, and the algos they basically just trigger and they fire up whenever she speaks, and there's a direct correlation of Yellen's speeches and the VIX. There's actually a correlation there, and it's because she represents stability in the market, and the algos are programmed to respond to what she says. So you've got to be really careful when the Treasury Secretary speaks because she'll crush the VIX, and we can see the 4.1% drop. So that we've got to be careful. I wouldn't be a bear anyway. I've said for years and years and years, look for buys on the indices. Okay, if you're short in the markets, you're up against monsters basically, and no one really wants the indices to fall. There's too much riding on it, and they've got people's pensions and things like that, and their 401 retirement funds. And perhaps you might be wanting to see things fall because you're bearish, but in the big picture scheme of things, no one really wants a crash, do they? Really, to be honest. Um, Maybe there could be an arguing point against it, but really we don't want to see like a global recession, do we? And this is the point of Yellen's speech: is she comes in to reassure and stabilize the market. So there's the VIX crushed. So as forecast, we were fairly risk on today. Um, the Treasury yield, the 10-year went up higher, which is kind of strange because the Dixie was under pressure. Tesla's had a good day. Apple's slightly negative. Okay, so let's talk about the indices and gold, and then we'll talk about Dixie. I don't want to forget Dixie because it's going to plan, and it's quite nice when I put out a forecast and it goes exactly as forecast. It's really quite cool, and I've been trading for a long time now. It's like 14 years. So it's a long time. We're going to get a buy for the US 30. Now, what I was saying in Discord now is that I think what's going to happen, let's just do a horizontal line. See this low? So we're close to making a buy. So it makes sense that we need to escape this sideways chop. No one wants it. There's no big bank who wants to trade sideways chop. They want to be trading breakouts. Now, what the plan is, I think they're going to do is that they're going to push price, sweep that low, and then it'll cause the HUD to short, and then that action will trap them, and then we'll wick really strongly and we'll break higher. But they're probably waiting for them to short. And also, they want to get out of the sideways nonsense, so they probably think, well, that's going to be a good place. They'll fall for that, they being the retail guys. And I can imagine what will happen is that we'll fall heavily and we'll break that low, and then we'll cause them to short, and then they might give it like a half an hour, 45 minutes, and then it'll start wicking below, and it'll be quite strong, and it'll just absorb a lot of liquidity. It'll absorb lots of sell orders and also stops as well. So that's what I think is going to happen. So we've got a buy income in there. We've got a buy income in on gold. Very choppy, but we are definitely a buy at the big picture. And this is the buy setup that we're going to possibly have. You can see it's quite accurate. See, for example, they sold here. We had quite a strong candle. And again, they went long. We sort of failed, didn't we? Ish. And they shorted it again, so we had some nice bullish price action. They went long, so we had some bearish development. They sold, so we had some bullish development. So you can see it's quite accurate. And so I think what will happen is that we're going to get the buy. Well, we need the crossover. So likewise, it might be something similar. To be fair, they might they want to erase the retail traders and get them out of the equation. So it makes sense that they would induce some sellers, and then we could probably pump from taking that that buy side liquidity. So possibly 2319. This has blown a lot of people up as well, I'd imagine. So many retail traders got destroyed on this. And I guess maybe S&P, because we're just chopping. And so what you're seeing here, this is what the DAX is going to do tomorrow, right? Because we're chopping here, right? And we've got this big box, and we're within this congestion. See this big candle? So we're chopping up and down, and we're trying to get a decent setup here, but there's nothing materializing. There's no strong crossover on the sentiment, so it's likely going to go sideways. And I think DAX might follow. So we got the box in the box, and we haven't quite got to the compression stage yet. But however, they are shorting it on the DAX as opposed to S&P, where it's going sideways. And the thing is with the DAX is they'd sold it here. Yeah, they'd sold it here. We can drag another box. That's fine. You can change those colors maybe. And they'd sold it again. Yeah, this one. And then lastly, we just want to talk about the Dixie as well. So I can't forget. I did the video yesterday and I forgot to talk about the Dixie, so I had to make a separate video. So we've got a box within a box. So these are two buy zones, okay? So we've got two buy zones in a big, heavy congestion. So that's the tricky thing. Let's see. Yeah, so we've got a bit of congestion. And so I think this is going to follow S&P, where it's going to go very compressed and it's going to go sideways and zigzag. So I think US Fed is looking for a trap mechanic. Same with gold. DAX, we could probably escape this box. We might not have to follow the S&P, but we'll have to wait and see. So there's the setup there. So we were fairly bullish today, and like I said yesterday, I'd be very, very surprised to see the retail guys buying into all this geopolitics. You know, you'd have to be a bit crazy to do it, but that's the thing, is that they're using logic, and if you use logic, you just lose money in this market. You just have to look at price action. If you're looking for those narratives, they'll cause you to sell, because they're actually generally scary and actually quite fearful. So if you read that news event and you apply that mentality as for your approach for trading, then you'll encounter losses, because that's what they want you to do. They want you to be fearful so they can take your stops. Okay, and this is what I've been saying for years. Okay, so you know, keep an eye on the news, but don't be massively bearish, because they want you to sell. And also, we know that things are a buy at the big picture, and that's why hopefully this is really, really powerful, and you're not caught on the wrong side. Okay, DAX, where are we? DAX, Dixie even. Here we go. So it's fine. It's going forecast. So if you remember, we were on this C to D leg, which is bearish. Okay, so I was saying we're going to come down to A, so we can bring this line down, and it looks quite likely now, to be fair. Oh, look at that. It's very interesting. Look at the wick and look at that high. Huh. So that's of note. So I think this is likely. Oh, didn't want to do that. I'm going to bring that down till we come to C. This is where I think we're going to get to. So that was of note, though. See where A is on the left-hand side. And then see the wick just is high. So we've got a double resistance there. So we're going to come down to C, I think. It's not too far away. We're going to send, you know, we'll probably have some fake nonsense where we'll probably potentially pump a little bit, but then we're looking to short at the ECB. So we'll see a bit of strength then. So we'll see this come down. get to the CPI on Wednesday, we'll pump from that, and then they'll pull the rug, and then it will fall, and then we're looking to buy the dip and cross USD. Okay, so we haven't put any trade setups in Discord because I'm fairly sure this is going to happen, but I'm probably about 60% sure. So I want to be trading with a little bit more confidence in my forecasting. But the thing is, what no one likes is this kind of stuff. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 days of just undecided, horrible chop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. So that's what I don't really want to see. So we could come down to the C level, and then we could possibly do this horrible sideways chop, and then it'll just be untradeable. So that's something that I don't really want, but it could potentially happen. If it does, it's just going to be horrendous. So I think down to here, and then we're might do this zigzag and stuff, but hopefully for not too long, and then we'll be zooming the downtrend to D, where it's going to be a buy. So that's that. Okay, and hopefully that's clear. Why? Because we've got a strong diagonal here, and we need to be below B. So the logical place is on the diagonal line. So it's going to plan. Not sure what's going to happen here. I think potentially we will pump, and then we're looking to sell. So the triangle might have to do a little bit like this, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, we can also break the triangle and chop, but then it will fall to D. So we'll just have to wait and see. This isn't guaranteed by any mean, but it's looking likely that we're on the C to D leg. We are still not above that C level, so it's going to hold firm unless we break it. But for now, we're on the C to D leg, which is a bearish run as well. Oh, before I wrap up, the sheet risk calc. Yeah, we're on the risk calc here. Monday, EU. So they're net short now. Okay, so it's actually made quite a strong buy for the Euro USD. Okay, so that's really good for our Dixie analysis and wanting to sell the USD. And that's today's video. I'll wrap up now, and remember to trade safely because we've got a very crazy Wednesday coming up as well.